Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Wednesday, the 17th of January. Hamish is off. I think he's at the tennis. Is that right in Melbourne, Ryan? Yeah.
Yeah, Australian Open, I think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, so he's. I don't know who's on exactly, but I'm sure your likes of Alcaraz, your Djokovic's, and that he'll be watching all of them, and Raducanu as well, obviously representing Great Britain. So
He's taken in the Les Dennis. Lucky for him, eh? But there you have it, Ryan. There you have it. Now, I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on the X or the Twitter handle, and I'm joined by Ryan McGinley at the Ryan McGinley. How are you, sir? You all right?
things are all good. Can't complain. Celtic have got a signing. They announced it a little bit late last night. I know. It's signed the Clacks the Celtic, who had 16 on their bingo card, their January bingo card. I know, but finally announced. I would appreciate if they announced the players a little bit earlier, if I'm being honest, because I was on the treadmill and then I saw that Celtic had tweeted with those accents on top of the U. I was like, oh, they're announcing Kühn, aren't they? And they did. So that was a swift getting off the treadmill and writing some stuff. But yeah, delighted to see that over the line. Really good video package from Celtic as well. I don't know if you've had time to watch it, but I thought that was absolutely tremendous. The way that they showed them about Celtic Park, the dressing room, and the taxi. It had vibes of Come Down With Me. You know when they, when they rate the night out of 10. But
It was
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And he looks delighted to be there.
Hats off to them for that, indeed. Robert Arbuckle, big lanky, loves the tennis. I think he's talking about Hamish. Don't forget the MPH advert. For those of you who are old enough to remember, Mr. Ben, as if by magic, indeed. The morning briefing is brought to you by MPH Group and their Scotland's award-winning family-run all-trade specialist covering all of mainland Scotland. And every service you offer automatically enters you into MPH's incredible holiday giveaway, and you could win a 7-night stay at the luxurious 5-star Moon Palace Resort in Cancun, Mexico. And they have the Navien Boiler Winter Promotion. If you're thinking of giving your heating system a boost, you can get a free Navien Internet Controller, and that gadget cranks up your boiler's efficiency to 98%. And they also offer flexible finance options. So if you're gearing up for a winter chill, consider making a smart move with MPH and Navien, and all the links to their social media sites and telephone number is in the description of this video. Ryan, Nicolas Kühn has finally arrived. Might expect to hear from him today at some point. I know Celtic put up a video of him talking about possibly official unveiling today, hopefully. Now, what are we expecting, Ryan? Yeah. What we're expecting, it is happening today. Okay, that's fine. I'm a bit tired, guys. I drove all the way to Bucky yesterday, 9-hour round trip, 4.5 hours there, 4.5 hours back. Speak to the lovely folk at Bucky Thistle and say thank you to them for welcoming us in. They were very good, some wonderful stories. Even got to speak to big Rab Douglas, big Sherbet Dab himself. So it was a good trip, Ryan, but a bit knackered, as they say. But anyway, enough about that. Nicolas Kühn is here, and you've spoken to Austrian journalists, and Stuart Ross has done a wonderful piece, scouting report piece, which is live on the website today. Check that out, guys. It's excellent. It's really, really good if you want to get a wee flavour of what Nicolas Kühn will bring. But from what your information speaking to this Austrian journalist, Ryan, what are you looking forward to most from Nicolas Kühn?
Yeah, it seems as if he's got a high ceiling for sure. Looking at the teams that he's played for. I guess Paddy likes Nicolas Kühn as well. Judging by the teams that he's played for, at least at youth level, they've all seen something in him to keep him around, whether that be at Ajax, whether that be at Leipzig or Bayern Munich as well. Rapid Vienna took a punt on him after him dropping down a couple of divisions to get some first-team football, and this has been his breakout season. He's not the finished article just yet, but I wouldn't go as far to say he's a project player either. He's somewhere in the middle. He's a player that can impact Celtic's first team immediately, I would say, but he's got more to come. He can turn into a real first team player for Celtic. The fact that he's in the door now, he should be training today, either training today or tomorrow or whenever the team's back. I presume they're already back in training. Probably with a view to playing on Sunday. I don't know if he would start the game, but I definitely think he would get some game time if all's going well against Bucky Thistle. I can't think of a better place to make your debut than in the Scottish Cup in front of the Celtic support and the travelling Bucky support for that matter. Yeah, very exciting signing, £3 million. You know, you don't spend that on a player if he's not really going to be playing most games. I know you could probably say the opposite for that for Bernabei, but that just didn't work out. Kühn looks as if he's going to be in here. He's going to be at Celtic and commanding a place instantly. And that'll be good for the squad because that breeds competition. You know, you've got Maeda's playing down that side, you've got Abada's playing down that side, now you've got Kühn. So all of a sudden that right wing is looking a lot more dangerous than what it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm like you, Ryan. I want to see him on Sunday. He has to feature at some point, if not from the start, because he's fit and he's been playing, hasn't he? And I think it's an ideal introduction to Scottish football, playing him against Bucky Thistle in the Scottish Cup tie.
Yeah, I think it's perfect the way it's lined up in that regard. Talk about a game that he could break his duck instantly as well, and that's no disrespect to the opponents on Sunday, as I've said previously, but it's a big game for him to make his debut at Celtic Park and potentially get a goal or an assist, and really it's a bit of a teaser of what he can do at Celtic if he can come on and make an impact, even if it's only for 20 minutes, half an hour. Celtic could be in the position where they're quite far ahead in that game when it comes to 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go, and maybe the atmosphere's died a wee bit because the game as a contest is over. In order for Celtic to sort of turn that around, they could bring on Kühn, a debutant, a player that wants to come on and really excite the fans and do something and really lift the tempo up in that regard. If they could do that, then I think it would help keep the whole stadium going for 90 minutes. And, you know, it's always exciting when you bring a new player on because the announcer makes a big deal out of it. You know, you'll get the big cheer from the crowd. And it could even be a ticket driver as well if the game isn't already sold out. I don't assume that it is, but you know, a few more tickets could be sold due to the fact that it could be the first chance to see a new attacker. You know, it's always more exciting. It's terrible when you say this, but it's always more exciting seeing attackers and new defenders in the team, or even midfielders. Although I would argue the case. Seeing a new winger ply his trade as a ticket driver probably, and people will want to see what this guy can do. So hopefully that can drive on a few people to pick up tickets for Sunday's game and to make it a real cup tie.
All 3,000 Bucky supporters at last count will be making their way down to Glasgow for the day. So yeah, I think Kühn signing will add a wee bit onto those numbers as well, Ryan. Getting a lot of comments coming in about him, so I'll just flick up a few and we'll take it from there. And as we always do, we like to get your opinion on these things, guys. So yeah, I'll start a few. So Hazel Finn coming in, morning. Hazel, how you doing? Watched the video, loved his reaction when he walked out the tunnel. You were talking about that, Ryan, at the top of the programme yet. Natalie McMullen, really good. She's so excited to see Nicolas Kühn. And John Lenny, good morning, lads. This boy will be an excellent addition to the squad, he thinks. Plunge McNugget, morning. Plunge, how you doing? Brendan sounds excited with the signing. And Davy Boy 1888 saying, like most swingers, he hopes he hits the ground running, so Bucky would be an ideal debut. Yeah, a bit like what you're saying as well. We think we think it'd be an ideal match to bed him in at some point, Ryan. Either he starts, plays an hour, or comes on maybe for half an hour. So yeah. Now, lots of other speculation, Ryan. They've captioned it, Nicolas Kühn's finally announced as a Celtic player. Who else will join him? Now, lots of Celtic supporters putting two and two together and thinking if Kühn's coming in, Abada might be leaving. Do you have a particular thought on that? Or have I just
not really had anything
there?
I know you've put me in the spot, and I'll have to think about that. Let me just get my thoughts together. I don't really have any evidence of that. That's the only thing. It's just been through reports in the media. Yeah. And even then, it's been nothing that's been concrete about Abada wanting to leave the club. You know, the only thing that you can maybe look at is the fact that he didn't address some of the fans when he came on after the game against Rangers. He went straight up the tunnel. I knew I'd seen that at the time, and my suspicions were correct because it wasn't just me that saw that at the end of the game against Rangers. You know, it's understandable as well, given the situation that he's currently in, where he finds himself in his homeland, the conflict that's currently going on. But he is facing a lot of pressure from his international teammates, from his international manager. What his international manager said about the Celtic support was absolutely abhorrent a couple of months ago.
Yes.
I think the Celtic should have made a bigger statement than what they did. They got a spokesperson to say it. I think they should have put out a statement full stop, wholly condemning the comments of the Israeli manager, because I think they, in my opinion, they brought the game into disrepute with comments like that. And it would really, comments like that would, if I was in charge of the football club, and this would only be my opinion, it would make me not want to send my player away to international duty, hearing comments like that, if that is the sort of rhetoric that the manager is coming out with towards, you know, a player's own fans. You know, look at the response that Abada got when he came onto the pitch against Rangers. It was massive. There was a massive cheer. Nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with where he was from or that. It was a football player that was coming onto the park, and there was a buzz to see him back because he'd done so many good things for Celtic in the past. That was all it was about. And it pretty much wrote off those suggestions from the Israeli manager.
I made the point last week, Ryan, that Brendan Rodgers had skillfully manoeuvred the conversation back to football and talking about Abada and saying he was in a happy place.
He's good at that.
I
Brendan Rodgers is very,
that.
very good at that.
Yeah, he's skilled at that. So, and I was, you know, and would Brendan Rodgers say that? I'm sure Brendan Rodgers would prepare you for the inevitable with regards to Abada if that was the case. So I'm taking the manager at face value on that, Ryan, as well, with his comments. I agree with you. I think the comments emanating from Israel have been abhorrent, especially against the Celtic supporters. But to a man, woman and child, the Celtic supporters get right behind the player, as Brendan Rodgers said they would, and long may that continue. Now, someone else, on you go, sorry, if you get something else to say.
It just does. It's interesting though, just going back to football on Abada, you know, right wing is a very, very congested spot. I know he can play on the left, but he was playing mostly on the right under Ange Postecoglou when Jota was on the other side. That trio of Kyogo, Jota and Abada was so pivotal in Celtic retaining the title off of Rangers in that first season especially. I know there was a bit of chopping and changing because Maeda came into the squad and other players, Haksabanovic had a couple of games here and there. But if you can get that trio again, but this time it may look like Palma, Kühn and Kyogo. You know, Kyogo's the one player that's the constant in all of that. That's a really dangerous trio, I would say. And it's three continents that are getting represented as well, which I noticed looking at it. You know, you've got the European, which is Kühn. You've got the South American, which is Palma, and then the Asian player and Kyogo. You know, it's a triple threat of continents, and it's I think it's great. It's so great to see so many different nationalities and walks of life playing for Celtic. You know, a lot of people are quick to call immigration this and that a bad thing, but I think it's so great to see in this squad that it's so multicultural, seeing different players of different nationalities playing, but all playing for the one cause at Celtic. I'm a big fan of it. But then just the point that I was going to make before I was sidetracked in thinking about those three players was, where does Abada fit in all of this? Will he be happy to be a potential sub? Will he be the starter and Kühn be the sub to begin with? You've also got Maeda to put into the question. Is he going to get inadvertently punished for going to the Asia Cup with Japan and lose his spot? It's a very, very interesting place, the wing position, and something that I'm looking forward to see unravel as the days and weeks go on.
I wrote the other day about Willie Mealy saying it doesn't matter about nationalities and creed, religion and all that. That Celtic Park's a place where a man is judging his football ability alone. And I think that's something, ethos that runs right through Celtic just now. And Abada will feel the love and the support from the Celtic fans whenever he takes to the field. Whatever happens, and it will play out whatever way it does. But I certainly think he'll be a big player for Celtic, and so does the manager in the second half of the season. And here's hoping that's the case. And with the arrival of Kühn, just means that they'll all have to ratchet it up a notch, Ryan, which is always good. I like that healthy competition for places. So, yep, I'm all for that. Now, MDL, you want to join them, Ryan, a left back. You're still hoping that a left back. People are also talking about a goalkeeper, being linked with a couple of goalkeepers, Kelleher from Liverpool and Ivan Marsson, the Icelandic number one, as well, getting sporadic links too. Don't know how strong that is, but There's sporadic links, aren't they, appearing in the media and stuff like that. But yeah, are that the two positions you see, or do you want? I certainly want another striker. I've got to be honest. I'm still in
There's
the,
got
the
to be.
striker camp,
You
just in
have
case.
convinced me in that regard. You've
Yeah,
convinced me.
just in case.
You've charmed me. You've charmed me, as David Brent would say. But
Don't
yeah,
know if that's a good or a bad thing. There you go.
take it whatever way you want it.
Okay, I will.
But yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think there needs to be another striker because despite the stats say one thing about Owen, the fact that he's got a good XG per 90. But
Yeah.
I just want to have a look at the goals that he has scored. A lot of those goals have been scored when maybe Celtic are leading in
Yes.
games, and he scored another couple of goals to sort of make that lead bigger. I know he scored against St Mirren. That was a big goal to get that 2-1 victory. When Celtic weren't really firing on all cylinders, and they found that out a couple of weeks later against Kilmarnock and Hearts. But I just think some of his stats are a tad misleading, and I get why people are saying that he's taking his chances when he gets them. But Aberdeen were awful that day. He scored 2 goals. Yes, they were 2 good goals, but Aberdeen were they were there to be got at, basically, and O took advantage of that. Maybe that's down to the fact that he's not had a lot of game time and he has to take these opportunities when they come.
Sure.
I just think in a lot of games at the moment, he's coming on. Yes, he's making himself a nuisance. Yes, he's getting headers and shots on target. But he's not really finding the back of the net all that often. It's the same as Kyogo. Kyogo's not finding the back of the net. But the thing is, you trust Kyogo to step up when it matters. In the one game that O started against Rangers, and I know that was the dead rubber at the end of the season. There was a big chance last season, and I think he hit the post when he lifted it over the goalkeeper. He should have scored, but he hit the post. If he scores that, it's a completely different game because I think it goes back to one each. But yeah, I think he's still untested, and I would like another option to be brought in there. Who that will be, I'm not so sure, but if you can get maybe a loan deal, that was what Scott Burns of the Daily Record was reporting. He was reporting that Celtic are looking at potential loan players from the Premier League. If you could get maybe even a Mikel Antonio for 6 months, or somebody like Kelechi Iheanacho from Leicester for 6 months, somebody of that ilk, somebody that's needing game time. Danny Ings as well, who's not getting a game. Any of these players that can come in and do a job for 6 months and guarantee you will make the money back of any loan fee that you pay for that Champions League money. I just think you can't gamble with goals. Goals are so important. I know Kühn will contribute with goals. Palmer will definitely contribute. Matt O'Reilly plays a second striker in this team. Hatate will get a couple as well. We just need that. Celtic need that insurance policy of a third striker. It's that rule of 3 that Brendan Rodgers loves at his clubs. You look at Griffiths, Edward, Dembele in that season. That was massive. Look at Leicester. It was Daka, Vardy, and Iheanacho. Those, if you can have a 3. And then you could also mention Liverpool as well. With I think Solanke was a third choice striker along with Sturridge and Luis Suarez. So it's all about getting that perfect balance of 3 strikers that you can rotate in the team. I think if Celtic can bring one of them in, it'd be the best thing for O, because I think it takes a bit of pressure off him as well. Just to give somebody, but it takes the pressure off him, but also puts it back on him at the same time. It's a 50-50 because it inspires him to do more, but at the same time, the buck doesn't stop with him if he doesn't score goals.
Yes, indeed. Now I saw even Lyndon Dykes getting sporadic mentions as well.
Yeah, that was laughed off yesterday on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I wry smile myself when I saw that too. I think. If that's what Celtic are thinking, maybe short-termism with the striker, then that's fair enough. But I still think we need another striker, Ryan. And if it's a short-term deal, certainly to take you to the summer, they certainly need a striker to come in the summer permanently. So we shall watch and see with that too. But Cameron Carter-Vickers as well, Ryan, being linked with West Ham and Brentford as potential buyers in the window. But Celtic supporters were up in arms about that last night, really. If you were on social media, they were like, it was like that bit in the airplane where the captain tells them they've ran out of coffee. There's lots of that going on, panicking and saying that Celtic better not dare sell Cameron Carter-Vickers. In my opinion, he's an untouchable. He's a crown jewel. You can't get near him.
He's an untouchable now, but in the summer, I don't think he's untouchable, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
I think it's getting towards that stage if he hasn't signed a new deal. He'll have 2 years remaining, 2.5 years at this point in time, because he only signed a 4-year deal. It was Jota that signed the 5-year deal out of those two players that signed permanently in 2022. He's halfway through his deal. If he wants to move back down south, then I wouldn't begrudge him it, unfortunately, because he's given 3 years, 2.5. It will be 3 years coming the end of the season of impeccable service to the club. He's been Celtic's best defender I've ever seen in my lifetime, and that includes Virgil van Dijk. I think he strolls games. He's got the bigger portfolio in terms of Van Dijk as well, because he's been at the club longer. He's also faced more of a challenge than Van Dijk did from the opposition. It's a completely different scenario. I know Van Dijk played against Rangers in the first matchup since 2012, but that was a completely different Rangers. There's been more competitiveness, and Carter Vickers has stood up in those games. It's been those games that Carter Vickers has been at his best.
Yeah.
We talk about that mammoth performance against Rangers at the Scottish Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just an absolutely incredible performance. I just think that he's 25, 26 now. He'll be wanting to test himself down south. He's, as much as he's American and he plays for the USA national team, he is English. He was brought up in Essex. He'll be wanting to go back down there. And he does count as a homegrown player for those teams that are sniffing in and about the Premier League. That could be an important factor. I think there's going to be a lot of change in the summer with centre-backs down south. I think you'll see a lot of movement, as you see every summer, because loads of teams are looking for that next big defender to come through. If these teams sell their centre-back, then maybe they'll come in for another centre-back elsewhere. He's more than good enough to ply his trade in the Premier League. He's shown that he can do it in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Shows he can do that every week. I think the only question mark now is down to his injury problems, because he's been picking up a lot of injuries this season. It's been Liam Scales that's been the one constant in the starting lineup, unfortunately. Not unfortunately for Liam Scales, but unfortunately for the team as a whole. That it's not been Cameron Carter-Vickers that's been that player that's been there the whole time. I think he will move on in the summer. I think there's going to be a lot of change in the summer, unfortunately. That's one of the reasons why I think Brendan Rodgers has been brought back to the club, so he can handle this rebuild, this soft reset that's going to happen in the summer, because I think that the likes of Cameron Carter-Vickers will go. I think Matt O'Reilly will go as well. Maybe some other players, Abada as well. Maybe Hatate. I know. I think it's a very real possibility.
Yeah.
And Celtic have just got to keep themselves right with regard to that.
We'll enjoy them while we can, as they say, Ryan.
Sorry to be all doom and gloom, but
yes, indeed.
I just think it's realistic.
Yeah, you've got to be realistic. Yeah, got to be realistic. Over 550, 560 people joining us actually.
Incredible.
Live as we speak. Incredible numbers. Thank you so much. And if you like what we do, guys, running along the bottom, the start line, we say it every day. Subscribe to the Celtic Way website. Costs you £4 for 4 months or £18 for a yearly subscription, and help us you'll be supporting top quality journalism, covering the club you love. In the process, just hit that button, subscribe button, guys. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. You'll see Ryan's interview on the YouTube channel as well with the Austrian journalist talking about Kühn. That's doing very well on the socials, bro. Absolutely. So we appreciate it. We really do. We try and read your comments out. We give you your say as much as we can. We love the toing and froing, and the clues in the name, guys, in case a lot of you have been asking about the morning briefing. It was meant to be a morning briefing, and we used to do the hour and stuff, but we've been kind of asked to keep it to 35, 40 minutes in case you're wondering why it's getting shorter. As Ryan once said, we want to leave people wanting more. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Absolutely, yeah. And especially during these, these quiet times. I know that Celtic have announced a player, and you could definitely spend the whole hour talking about that and what that means for the football club. Just thinking, during the winter break especially, it's good to have that half an hour, because it gives us more to talk about the next day as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be... I think the last thing that people want to hear is us going over the same points over and over and over again. Yeah. And just while I've got the floor and while I've got the microphone, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so on the YouTube channel. If you've got a YouTube account, if you've not got one, please make one and subscribe, and you'll be able to get involved in the comment section. But if you do have an account, please press the subscribe button. The numbers that we've got over the past month or so have been absolutely incredible. We're getting ever so closer to 10,000 subscribers. We're doing our best to make this one of the best Celtic platforms. We know we've got tough competition on YouTube with platforms talking about Celtic every day. But if you could give us a subscription and you'll get notified as when we go live, it would really, really help us, and we would really appreciate it. We're growing from strength to strength. We're doing new things in the new year. We brought Hamish on board, and there's definitely been a positive impact due to that. But if you are interested, please give us a subscribe, and we would really, really appreciate it.
Indeed, and we've still got your old Celtic da here, and you've got Ryan there to appeal to the young brigade, as they say, Ryan, as well. Isn't that right? The young team, the YT.
I'll take it. I'll take it, Tony. Thank you for
something like that. So we try and cater to everybody's needs, guys, but we can't do it without your help, and that's why we do take time to thank you when we can. And it's not just lip service, because you have helped build this up organically from scratch for the best part of 2.5 years, and we hope that you enjoy what we do, because we enjoy interacting with you and talking about Celtic every day. It's a pleasure in life, let's put it that way, getting up every morning and talking about this kind of stuff. So we say we try and bring you entertainment, try and bring you news, try and bring you the best that we can be on a daily basis, and provide top articles for the website as well. So if you subscribe to the website, guys, you would be doing us a real turn, and those that have, thank you. And as Ryan says, those numbers are approaching double figures and thousands, which is a coup for us. It would be a coup for ourselves. So thanks very much. Johnny Franco coming in. Great show, guys. Really appreciate that, Johnny. Thanks very much. Now, Ryan, we still need a left back, don't we? Tell me we need a left back.
We do need a left back. Yeah, although the winter break probably came at the wrong time for Greg Taylor, as I thought he had two really good games against... he had a good game against Dundee too on Boxing Day.
Yes.
He had a good game there. He had a really good game against Rangers in the second last game before the winter break, and then his performance against St Mirren was exemplary, topped off by a really, really good goal, a well taken goal. He's like a striker. He's like Phil Taylor with his accuracy, never mind Greg Taylor. Definitely showed the power in that regard. I'm missing the darts, can you tell? But yeah, even though he has done really, really well, I still think a left back is important, and it's not even due to the fact that it's not even Greg Taylor's fault. I think it's more the fault of Bernabei, and that sounds terrible to bring out a player like that, but he's not getting game time. He's not even making squads. 3.75 million, that's the magic number, or it's the unmagic number, it's the unwanted number, because Celtic paid that for a left back from Argentina that isn't playing football. He's basically just training, and that's it. There needs to be another left back. That Greg Taylor needs to be challenged, because I think he's at his best when he's challenged in this team. When he's getting pushed to the brink, I think you'll see the best out of both players. Greg Taylor can challenge the player that might be in front of him or might be behind him, and then the other player can challenge Greg Taylor to that spot too. I think it's got to happen, and it's got to happen in this window. The remaining 13, 14 days of this window, I think a left back has got to be identified and brought into the club.
So you're saying 3.75 million for Bernabei was not the magic number because you didn't have De La Celtic Soul? Is that what you're telling me? See what I did there?
Yes. I'm on the same page. Yes, I would agree with that. It's just not been it's not been a success whatsoever, apart from a couple of good assists. Yeah. It was a good assist to Giakoumakis. In fact, I think he's 2 assists. I think he's only got 2 or 3 assists, but 2 of his assists have came for Giakoumakis.
Yeah. That's why
one of them being at home.
That's why we still need a left back, Ryan. Bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't know what he's good at, unfortunately, and I hate to bring that up, but I don't know what he's good at. I know what he's bad at. He's bad at controlling the ball, passing the ball, being effective in possession. I don't really know what he's good at, apart from having a bit of pace about him. But even then, I think he might have the Abada syndrome, with that he's smaller, so he looks as if he's faster. When I don't think Abada's that quick either. I think he's nippy, but he's not. It's not as if he's got brute pace. Hopefully, Kühn can address that problem on the right wing. But yeah, it's just not worked out for Bernabei for whatever reason, and I think he must be on good wages, so he must be difficult to get shifted. But I think something's got to happen. He's not making it at Celtic. That's 2 managers that clearly haven't fancied him at the club. So I think it'd be best for all parties if he moves on. But I just don't know who takes him at this point.
Yeah. And a name that keeps coming up, Ryan, but Owen Beck keeps kind of getting mentioned in dispatches as well. saying Celtic tried, but Liverpool weren't willing to let him go out on loan. And it's popped up again this week. Josh Doig is another name people keep bandying about and throwing about, but what we do know is Greg Taylor needs some competition. There are lots of comments coming in, so I'll read a few out. Jerry Smith, morning Jerry, an out-and-out strikers, what Celtic need. Maestro 95, Celtic have definitely upped the pace since Bernardo has been in the team. Pat O saying Celtic need 2 strikers, a left back and a goalkeeper. They keep buying more wingers. Time to stop shopping at KFC. Claire Best, Celtic are way too light in the strike force department. O's great passion and a will, but it's finishing very poor. Celtic need a striker as proven to get back as a proven goal scorer to get back up to Kyogo. Yep.
I think this is a very important comment, and I'm just going to bring it up from Jim Stevenson. Not much movement on players leaving. I thought there would have been more by now. I'll be honest with you.
I think a lot of that might happen in the last couple of days or the last few days of the window. I've got to be honest, because they'll want guys out the door. Natalie McMullen saying own bet, yep, that's the name as well. And Charlie McGarvey, going back to that bad point, as Tony said, that people at Parkhead judging the football, but I'm not the Russian nationality. Of course, great quote from William Miller. John Mulaney, your wee Doug's fairly voiced an opinion this morning. Certainly is. Paddy's in good form. Just like Ryan, hopefully myself. AR saying every player has a price. I think he's talking about Cameron, Carter, Vickers, Scott Dougal saying second or third Joe striker for the Scottish Premiership. Shankman's a no-brainer for him. And Charlie McGarvey, glad there's no reason right now, but the passion of Tony's rants are brilliant. Fair enough, thanks very much. I'll take that, Ryan, yeah. Taylor's fine for domestic games, says Michael Ross. Good morning, Michael. Andrew Galea saying the same. Greg Taylor will do for him. And Les D16 saying she got it. I think that was a De La Soul reference she was talking about. And Marquis coming in saying we're a popular duo, like football Stan and Ollie. Are you having that, Ryan?
I don't know who Stan and Ollie are, to be honest.
Laurel and Hardy, I think he's referring to the.
I don't think they are.
Stan Laurel
I didn't know we were in.
Hardy.
I didn't know we were in first name terms with them. More coming wise. That'd be more.
More coming unwise. We'll fight over who's who. Well, I've got the specs, so I've got to be Eric, haven't I? Yeah. The usual. I'm saying all the words not necessarily in the right order. Is that it? Yep. Taylor is better than people say. Hard to find a defender with his output. Plunge McNugget coming in, morning plunge. I like wee Taylor, but he needs competition. And Michael Ross coming in. Doig. I think that's big exclamation.
He's going to Sassuolo.
Yeah.
I think it looked as if he was going to Marseille. I know he was linked with Rangers as well. I don't think there was anything in that link. At least that's what Fabrizio Romano said. Usually Fabrizio is on the money when it comes to these rumours. I don't know how much information that he's got with regard to agents. I think agents tap him up and ask him ask him to sort of broadcast a player.
Yes.
You've got to do that. If you're an agent and you're not selling your player, then you're not doing the right job. That's your job, is to make your player or your client as attractive as possible. But yeah, it looks as if Doig is going to Sassuolo. If he did go to Sassuolo, he'd be joining up with a former Celtic. Was he a left back, right back? I think he was a right back. Yeah, he was a right back. Another German player that played the second last German player to play for Celtic, a right back, a German, Jeremy Toljan, who used to play for Borussia Dortmund, who's turned a corner in his career. He had a bit of a nomadic career before then, but he's a first team player for Sassuolo. Sassuolo, I think their last manager, he might have been 2 managers ago, was De Zerbi, who's currently at Brighton. So they're definitely a team that's on the up at the moment, a team that's really well run, and he's doing a good job. So I think either Marseille or Sassuolo would be a good move. And a good move for the Scottish national team as well. Another player playing his trade in the top 5 league can only be good for their chances going forward.
Yep, indeed. Well, here's hoping that Celtic do get a left back and a striker before the window closes, Ryan. That's what I would like to come in, a left back and a striker. We'll preview the Bucky game in due course. Nicolas Kühn's due to speak to the media today at some point. 4 o'clock. Well, there you go. So, excellent. I'm away to lie down after my trip to Bucky in the snow, and it was snow, and it was but it was worthwhile. It was great. Really enjoyed it, and lovely people, and hope they have a wonderful day on Sunday. Not too much, of course, but just hope they have a nice day in general. But yep, that's nearly 35 minutes. As I say, the clue's in the name. the morning briefing. But we like to go longer in the post-match analysis, Ryan. We like to do that, don't we? Yeah.
Depends on what happens. Sometimes you want it to be less than 30 minutes, depending on how Celtic have played. But yeah, I think we like to talk about individual players on the post matches as well. Sometimes we'll talk a wee bit longer in the press conference ones too. I'm not sure if there'll be one of them this week because you and I are off different days, so it might just be the Q&A that's on the website, but please keep an eye out for that, and please check out the Kühn video that I put on with Tom from the Other Bundesliga podcast. Really good insight, talks about his strengths, his negatives, his temperament in the game, because a lot of people were asking about that on Twitter as well. They wanted to know what his temperament was like in games, attitude. It's that E word. The E word always gets used for players, especially with wingers. They wanted to know, and I got a definitive answer on that. So if you're wanting to check out what he's like on the pitch, please check out that video. It's a really good, insightful conversation. We also talk about Austrian football in general, talk about how Salzburg are doing over there, because they've got a really, really interesting way of identifying players in, sort of Africa and South America too. But it's not just Salzburg that are producing good players. It's Sturm Graz as well. Rapid Vienna have good young players. So if you're looking to find out a bit more about Austrian football, the Austrian Bundesliga as a whole, then please check out the video. It's really insightful, and I really enjoyed speaking with Tom of the Other Bundesliga pod.
Ian Roy, in case you missed it, we kind of addressed this earlier, but the whole purpose of the briefing was originally to be 35-40 minutes, but myself and Ryan and Sean sometimes let it go over the hour, but we kind of decided that it should be shorter, leave people wanting more, that kind of thing. We usually like to do an hour or so after post matches, but we just thought we'd address it because a lot of people were asking about it and getting a bit worked up about it and annoyed that we weren't going the hour or so. So I just thought I would let people know that it's not that we don't want to speak, because we could speak for a lot longer than an hour about Celtic, as most of you know that, but we just like to address most of the topics that are currently kind of newsworthy. We try and go 35-40 minutes. We kind of think that's ample, Ryan, isn't that right?
Less is more, says here, and I would tend to agree with that. It gives us more to talk about the next day, so I've got no problems with it. And besides, it means our points have to be more succinct than that as well. and nobody, and I get that people want to hear a rant sometimes after a game, maybe when something isn't going right, but when things are positive as they are just now, Celtic are in a good place. Short and sweet, and we can talk about more positive things as the days go on.
No problem. Thank you for that, Ryan. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Costs you £4 for 4 months of access to everything that's written on the website, or £18 for a yearly subscription. We can't thank you enough to everybody that did that recently, and also hit the YouTube subscription numbers as well. We are currently flying with them, as Ryan says, approaching 10,000 subscribers and that. So thank you for that. And we say thank you to sponsors, MPH Group, and all the details about the Navien Boiler offer are under the description of this video, along with their social media contacts and phone number as well. So thank you to MPH Group for that. Guys, take it easy. I think Ryan's jacket's nailed it here. Stay warm, because it is cold, isn't it, outside?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it does look a bit like my jacket, to be fair.
Take it as a compliment, young man. Yeah, you've been called worse. You've been called Stan and Ollie this morning. You know what I mean? Stan and Ollie's to me were things that you screamed into the top corner, Ryan. You hit it on the Stan and Ollie. You know what I mean? So there you go. I always associate
the
that.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah, the volley. Any likeness is merely coincidental. All right, so before anybody starts, a bloody hellish. More like, there you go. But hey, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much. A tight 40 minutes today, Ryan. I'm quite chuffed at that. We shall see you all again tomorrow. Do it all again. As I say, hit the subscribe button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Ryan, thank you so much. Top man, stellar performance today, sir.
Thank you very much, and really enjoyed it.